I am going to our YouTube page in a second. Because it always... There we go. Episode 32.
Yeah. It was indeed on Twitch. Dip.
Alright, everyone. I sound great. Let me hear your melodious voices.
La 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 la, my melodious voice. La 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 la. Doesn't sound as melodious. Figaro, 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 Figaro. Hey, we had someone join, but I don't have my laptop up to where I can view who joined our YouTube.
It's probably Bass.
Whoever it is, welcome.
Because she's checking levels.
Alright, you
that's
sound great, guys.
I filed my taxes on Tuesday.
Ah.
I'll get it between a week from now and 6 years from now.
Yeah. Government shutdown.
Alright, I have the Twitch chat up, so I can monitor that.
I didn't even think about that. Them taxes are gonna be so backed up.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to whoever's just turning in. We are getting everything set up so that we can start. Speaking of, can we start? Is it,
Yeah.
Is it ready yet?
Let's do it.
Hold on, just give me 1 second to get that timer going, because I want to...
Okay. We do need to keep a little time.
Yeah, we do.
Because we get carried away, then it takes forever, and they're like, we spent an hour talking about or hating on one person, and we didn't get the rest of our thing done.
Well, the more important question is asked, have you named your poodle yet?
I have not, but it is super cute. And I love it.
Good.
Alright.
Got it. We decided. Yep, this is Vast.
Yep.
This is Vast.
All hers.
Yep.
Alright, Scorch, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Okay. Hey, it's episode 32 of the show that we do. We talk about video games and all that junk. We have a lot on our plate, so we need to get started. But first, I am Scorch. I am joined by Vast Empires. And Arcadius Zero is somewhere in a corner somewhere doing something.
I'm not in a corner.
The triumvirate is in
I am
session.
present.
Whoop whoop.
Present and accounted for.
Yes. Where shall we begin? We have a rather lengthy itinerary. We have to hit Bungie and Activision. We can talk about crunch in the video game industry. We can talk about what is going on with Machinima. There are a few other things that we can work in there. Also, Anthem, because the
Always.
VIP demo starts tomorrow if you're watching or listening to this. It is the 24th of January, and we all three will be playing and streaming
Get
the Anthem
some.
VIP demo most, if not all of the day. I know I will be.
I will be at work. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
As in, work folded open on your lap as you sit there next to the TV with your PlayStation controller in your hand.
Yeah?
I will be available. I might be
Jiggle
sick.
the mouse every once in a while.
Yeah, jiggle the mouse a little bit. No, but
So it doesn't show you away.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But seriously, if you are listening to this at a later time, VIP demo for Anthem is this weekend, and then the regular open Anthem demo is Friday, February the 1st to Sunday, February the 3rd. So if you're hearing this on, say, our Dash Radio show, Mondays
Hey.
at
Shout out to Dash
2
Radio.
p.m. Eastern. Make sure that you get into that demo, and we'll have a ton of talk about Anthem from the demo and some of the news that we have about it later on in the show.
Yes.
I think that we might want to start with the big news, the Bungie Activision news.
Oh,
That's pretty big.
baby.
Pretty sizable.
Oh, baby.
Oh,
Yes, it is. So it was formally announced that Bungie and Activision have begun the process, at least, of splitting ways. I believe this happened last week. We did podcast last week, so we're talking about it this week. And Bungie had a very formal, very peaceful announcement on their website about their split. Which makes me think that this was a shit hit the fan, ugly as hell, like Thanksgiving beer brawl.
Blood in the
like-
boardroom.
yeah, like this was a thing where like they hired assassins against each other or something like that.
I'm picturing that now because they would do that.
This thing, their statement was so calm and at peace.
There had
it
to have been
just
something wrong.
screams. Everything was like foobar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Total
That's the
sideways.
only way I can. That's the only way I can think to describe it.
It's like those individuals that when they get so mad, when they're used to yelling, they all of a sudden go into a straight, monotone, totally serious voice. And they
Yes.
don't, like, their eye muscles don't even move.
Yes. It was announced that Bungie will be retaining rights to Destiny and all future sales, and Activision is going to be, at least partially for the time being, maintaining the multiplayer servers for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a couple of other things that come around with this story. There's been speculation that some of this was prompted by the most recent investor call Activision had with its investors, where they mentioned that they were not pleased with how Bungie and Destiny 2 sold. And I believe there was a little bit of pushback from Bungie at that time, and I'll try and get the actual timeline together, where they said something along the lines of, we feel that the stability that we made with our core players and the fact that we have people coming back again and again to play shows success in Destiny 2. So that was like a hearkening maybe of what's to come if it didn't prompt it.
Yeah. We had a little bit of news, I think it was either late Q2 of last year or Q3 last year, that Bungie had entered a partnership with a Chinese company called NetEase to develop another game. And at that time, I thought that this was going to be a side project that was unrelated to the Bungie Activision goings-on. I wasn't even sure if Activision would allow that, but as it turns out, at least in my mind, that was like the beginning of the end, and talks were proceeding at that point.
But not only that, it actually
Towards the
gave
end.
Bungie the ability, or, I mean, this money injection was in, like, I think it was 100 million? Like,
Something
it,
like
Yeah.
that.
it was
Yeah.
It was hefty.
It's a
was,
massive
I believe it was 100
injection.
million.
And basically gave Bungie the ability to self-publish and basically not need Activision at all. And considering how south and sour things are going, the investors would almost prefer Bungie to just kind of go away and let Activision get control of what they're supposed to be doing.
Actually,
Yeah.
though, in the aftermath of this announcement, I think maybe it was Variety. It could have been Forbes, because I read around. But had an article talking about investors launching an launching an
Oh,
investigation
yes, that's
over
right.
possible fraud
I remember now.
after the
Yep.
Bungie split.
Wow.
So possibly
Let
a
me-
little insider trading information related to the Bungie split. So.
Yeah. So let me find this article real quick.
I do remember that blurb. that there was more to it, but it wasn't really substantiated, and it's kind of in the rumor mill right now. So you couldn't really consider it fresh news. It's just it's on everyone's ears. Let's just say that it's caused some perking of individuals.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
this means, at least for me, that Bungie's games are back on the menu. Because
Well, we'll
I
wait.
think a
We'll
lot
see
of
how
what
they
had-
reinvent
Hold
themselves
on.
now that they got no one holding over
Hold
them.
on. Let me finish my statement here. That I think a lot of the things that we did not like that we attributed to the life cycle of Destiny was more like a corporate ultimatum as to how Bungie should handle their game through Activision. And if that made sense, that was like a jumble of words in my head. I'm not even sure that made sense. But I think that we'll probably be able to see the way things are supposed to be as far as Bungie goes in the next Destiny installment. And one, that's exciting because I want Bungie to be able to create what they want to create. And another thing is that I really want to play a Bungie game again, but it's not going to be a Destiny. I'm not even going to pick up Destiny 3. That game, like that title, that's the series is forever tainted in my head. I'm not touching it. But future IP that might be different, it's looking a little bit more enticing.
I would agree.
Yeah. I was going to ask, is that something that you guys...
Wait. I'm gonna
might
leave
be
these two
interested
open.
in? Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. How do I say this? I
I'm still
equivocate.
gonna-
I agree and disagree with you on that because I think that a lot of those things that you mentioned were definitely a part of their deal and having the oversight from Activision. But some of the things, I truly believe some of it wasn't. It was just poor planning and over-promising and the general things that come from a software development cycle. That could happen to anyone, but happened pretty badly to Bungie. However, that being said, I am excited to see what would happen next for them with the new IP, and I would be curious to see if there is a Destiny 3 in the works, and if it would be the realization that they wanted initially, plus all of the aches and growing pains that they have had over the past few years. Because I think that could be a really great game.
Yeah.
If they don't mess it up.
I mean, it has solid bones, right?
Mm-hmm. The gunplay is still great.
That's about all it has is the bones. I'm not saying that Bungie is without fault, because that's simply not true. I think, part of it is Activision. I'm still going to say part of it is Activision, but they're still responsible for firing Marty O'Donnell and then not paying him adequately.
Pretty sleazy.
Yeah, they've done some questionable things on their own, so...
Yeah.
But it is a really bright and exciting time to be a studio with funds. You can self-publish, you can put your stuff, it doesn't have to be put out through EA or Activision. You could put your stuff on Steam or now the Epic Store, and you can have a lot of recognition and viewership of your work through Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and Mixer. So there's a lot of ways to be successful, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and hopefully Bungie can continue to be successful.
Yeah, I wish them the best. Also, you mentioned Epic Game Store. the Epic Game Store has garnered some heavyweight attention because they have acquired the Division 2 as how it's getting distributed. The Division 2 is not going to be on Steam. It's going to be on the Epic Game Store.
I did see that.
It's kind of a blow for Steam, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because that's a pretty big game to be missing out on, you know what I mean?
It has a decent base that still definitely plays it.
Yeah. And I know Vast, in part, is quite excited about that game. I can't vouch for it myself.
I am interested in seeing it. I want to play it. I am going to do the demo. Fingers crossed that my industry insider has a key for me. But I am not at a point where I am going to say I will put money down on it. I will say that.
Okay.
But my heart is open. I am willing to give this game a chance because my initial impressions of The Division, I was one of those people who were fortunate that didn't have the bugs. I had a good group of guys, the other part of this triumvirate over here, to play through. And I had a lot of fun. And if they can, and even with another group of friends, when we went to the Dark Zone, I had fun there too. It wasn't in a game mode that I would want to go in all the time, but when you're with a good group of people who are just as willing to do some street justice on those people who are trying to get your gear,
justice,
then it could be fun. But so yeah, if they can translate all of that into a tighter, better, bigger experience, then I'm on board. And I think
with a better color palette.
With a better color palette, it looks like the sun actually shines in this game, y'all.
Oh, so we got some yellows and oranges. Whoa!
There's some real
Maybe
green.
Some blue sky even.
I think you're going to be able to wear Daisy Dukes.
Throttle it back there.
Daisy Dukes, really?
That is a pre-game prediction from yours truly. Daisy Dukes are going to be in the game because it's going to be summertime.
You're going to be in Maryland and Virginia and stuff. They actually have a summer there. So theoretically, totally get down on them shorty shorts.
Shorts.
Oh goodness.
I mean, not me personally. I have too many horses in that race, if to use a euphemism.
But do you think this is going to? Okay, first of all, do you think this is exclusive for all of time, or is it like a 3-month, 6-month release exclusivity deal for the Division 2 and the Epic Store? And do you think that's going to hurt them? Because they will not be on Steam, and they may not have the amount of sales figures that you would normally take. And I just bring that up because some people are really dedicated to and identify themselves with a brand. So there are a lot of people who are like Steam or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much going to sit there and be like, man, it'd be nice to play the Division right now. And they won't because they're such die-hard Steam fans.
And this is this is just going to be for PC, so it's not, Yeah.
You can get it all the other old-fashioned ways with console. Digitally, without GameStop. We'll hit them later. Those fucks. I don't really think it's going to hurt sales of the game.
Okay.
I think this might be kind of a test venture to see what kind of sales that they can really garner from someplace that doesn't have the install base of Steam. But it's nice to see that a competitor to Steam is out there that has market attention enough to draw AAA names. And I think this kind of competition is better than just having Steam around, because from what I've heard, Steam is kind of trashy right now and filled with lots of things that are not really what you would consider games. There are a lot of graphic novels, a lot of a whole bunch, like a huge slew of
Are
like
they
B
experimenting
games and stuff
with
like that.
trying to broaden their base of content?
I don't know.
No, I think it has more to do with more people getting into the indie developer game and starting with, if not their first or second tries at a game, some of the easier things to develop. So graphic novels, dating
Yeah.
sims, those kind of things are
Dating
easier.
sims.
Well, I
No,
mean,
that's true.
I mean, yeah, they're pretty easy to make, especially if you make everybody pigeons or whatever that one dating sim was.
oh my gosh. But I have a question for you guys.
I have
And
an
this
answer.
did not make it
6.
onto my news list because I was kind of lazy this week. Not lazy,
Ugh.
yeah, very lazy. Okay,
Terrible.
but
Terrible.
but Steam is owned by Valve.
Yeah.
Valve has not released very many games in the past 5, 6, 7 years or so.
Yeah.
Recently, their latest release, Artifact, which I think actually released
Oh
this.
yeah, it's tanking, isn't it?
Yes, it was released in November, I believe, of 2018. On Saturday, their player base dropped to 1,500 concurrent players on Steam.
Oof.
Yeah. Valve's own card game. Well, it was a card game.
It was a card game, and if you recall, if anyone recalls, like their big gaming event that they happened earlier, I think it was last year when they announced Artifact, and that huge groan went through the crowd.
Oh yeah. Did they do that at BlizzCon?
I think that was a live
No.
thing for sure.
No, they didn't do it at BlizzCon. They did it somewhere else.
Yeah, but it was like it wasn't E3, but it was like I think it was at their big event because
It's
it doesn't.
E3 adjacent.
Yeah, and so do you think with the competition, this might make Valve more eager to put their own content on Steam to make it relevant?
I don't think they're in any problem. They're not hurting to do that like right now.
Yeah,
Your
well, I mean, they
one
have
Purple
tons
Lantern.
well, they
Hey,
have
it's
tons
purple,
of
man.
tons of cash. Like they are cash rich. Don't
yeah,
get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But and there's a lot of different developers who are putting content onto Steam, but you still need tent poles to drive the kind of revenue that they're generating.
Yeah.
And if exclusivity, is limited to them, even if it's limited to like 3 months, that's still revenue that they could have seen. So
Yeah.
how do you get that revenue back? How do you get those big tent games to show that Steam is still popular and viable? And I'm not talking about immediately because of course it's like number one right now. I'm saying as an eventuality, entering into the speculation zone kind of thing, will they drop a Half-Life 2 or another Half-Life?
Half-Life 3.
A Half-Life 3? Will they bring like Portal back? Will they work harder to save Artifact? That kind of thing.
I think Artifact is pretty well dead. I don't.
But they could bring it back though, can't they?
For what audience exactly?
Yeah,
I feel
know.
like the games industry electorate has kind of passed their judgment on card games. I think that's kind of gone the way of the dodo right now. There are some that are still going strong, I think. Like what, Heroes of the
Hearthstone.
Storm?
Well, Hearthstone.
Is Heroes of the Storm going south too?
They have, so Activision has basically shuttered a lot of extraneous events, and one of them was the event that they have centered around like Haas, Heroes of the Storm. So I don't think they're going to have their big esport events for Haas. And I think they've slowed down some of the development for it. I'm being really tentative with what I'm saying here because I've seen an article in passing, but I really didn't read it.
I see. Okay.
That could be something that we can talk about on our next show, which you should tune in most Tuesdays.
Most Tuesdays. If, I can herd all of the cats in one direction, yes, there will be a Tuesday show. But, them cats, they don't want to pay attention to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or, have any thought of tradition or friendship. Because they're godless, hair-yakking furballs.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm not a fan of cats. Plain and simple.
All right, so before the cat people come and rake us over the coals, let us switch to another topic.
You want to rake something else over the coals?
Are we in the raking mood now?
Well, let's rake.
I could be persuaded.
Well, then let's talk about AT&T.
AT&T.
That stack up.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, run through that stack up again. And
All right,
for the viewers and the listeners.
Let's lay the groundwork here for a second. Machinima was recently purchased by a company called Fullscreen Media. And Machinima has been like a staple of YouTube. It's had its own spot in like the YouTube space. It's created a gamer culture out there. It was one of the main forces to the large community that sprouted up around gaming and YouTube. I think a lot of it had to do with Machinima. And I think it's been on the platform since like 2006, something like
while.
that. And it had 12 million subscribers when it was bought.
No small amount of chump change.
It had like groupings of wonderful content creators, and they had a whole bunch of spots like Happy Hour, which is how Arcadius and I found Battlefield Friends.
Gold.
Yeah, Battlefield Friends is amazing. If you've never watched it, go and watch it. Can't do it on Machinima anymore, but
It's worth a gander.
It is. It definitely is. It's so applicable. But anyway, they were bought by Fullscreen, and then the website, I wouldn't say the website, the YouTube channel at least has gone completely dark, and their videos are no longer watchable. And as I understand it, quite a few of the creators that have placed their content on Machinima had a really hard time getting a hold of anybody on Machinima and asking them, what's going on? What's the deal? How come I can't talk to you? Is there going to be a future for my content? Can we still work through anything? And people have been giving really vague answers to them. And
let me just break in real quick and just say, in addition, the acquisition also resulted in layoffs of actual employees, and some will be joining the different units within the media group that purchased them, like Warner Media and Otter, and others will not, which is typical with an acquisition, but it's just part of what is happening right now to the employees. All right, so continue.
Yes. So when I saw this article that Vest digitally pitched upon my desk, I decided to do a little bit of digging to see what the industry Ponzi scheme looked like. So I took a look at Fullscreen Media, first of all, to see what they owned. And they do a lot of things with individual content creators. They have a lot of networking potential for like single creator people, and they also have relatively large, as far as internet space goes, companies like Rooster Teeth under their employ. And that kind of worried me a little bit about Rooster Teeth, because I enjoy their content quite a lot. They make Red vs. Blue and Ruby, and soon to be coming out this weekend, Genlock, which they're
That's
pushing
this
really, really
weekend?
hard. That is this weekend.
There's your new news, folks. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. By the way, Genlock has like Michael B. Jordan and David Tennant and Maisie Williams and Dakota Fanning in it. So
Oh yeah, it's got a
That
cast.
is a lot of voice acting money in there.
Yeah,
they're
it's got a
really
cast.
throwing themselves into this.
But we all know Michael B. Jordan likes anime, so
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a total nerd.
we love him.
So
Call us.
then
Me
Then-
specifically.
I I decided to see if Fullscreen was owned by anybody, and they are. They are owned by Otter Media, and Otter Media owns more of like the conglomerates out there. They have Verve, which is kind of like a website / streaming service, like a subscription kind of thing, and they also have Crunchyroll, which is all about anime. And then I decided to see if Otter was owned by anybody, and they are. They're owned by TNT.
AT&T. Not Dynamite.
Not
Or
Try
the
not to
Turner
tell you.
Network.
Or the Turner
Yeah.
Network. Yeah. So AT&T is that's where it all ends, as far as that scheme goes. And
Mm.
I don't really like that all that much. You know what I mean? It's like centralized power. You know, you don't really want that much power in the hands of one entity.
Like
Oh
Amazon.
man, one day you should look and see what all GE owns.
Well.
Dude, GE owns so much.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Ugh. But that's the stack up.
That's a stack up, and it is. It's. Hopefully, it will turn out to be a happy tale for the content creators, that they go on to have a big and bright future on whatever new platform is being put together, because it feels like there's a new platform coming. Especially since you mentioned, was it Otter or Fullscreen that owns not Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll!
Oh,
Crunchyroll!
Otter owns Crunchyroll.
Yes. So when I hear that, I'm thinking to myself, oh, is there going to be a new Crunchyroll-esque type site subscription service that's coming, or will they fold that into fold that content in those content creators into that subscription service to build their brands? I'm not sure. However, right now it's just like really kind of scary that all of their hard work has just disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like all of the goodwill that they fostered from all of the content creators that put their, you know, all of their stuff on Machinima, and the legacy that Machinima had is just kind of up in smoke at this point. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know if they're coming back. I don't know if they have a plan for it or anything like that. And right now it's kind of seeming like not, which is a little sad.
Yeah, it's probably going to err on the side of more times than not. If companies get purchased, they don't really return things to the way they were. So odds are high it's
True.
not going to
That's
be the
very
same.
Friends, Durnami Gaming will keep you updated if there are updates. We like to talk about this kind of stuff, and we'll be back with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be back with more news in the future.
So I'm not done ripping on things yet. I want to
Oh.
bring out the next topic,
Go ahead.
if I can, and that's GameStop.
Please do. Ooh, hit it.
Do we want to chat shit about GameStop? 'Cause I
Do it.
Hit it.
Is anybody familiar with this?
We're the GameStop
Like-
generation,
like-
so if anyone's got the right to, we do.
Yeah. So, are either of y'all familiar with the current goings on with GameStop?
Not the current. I
No,
did
but
read
heard
a
that they're in
unstable
some
article about
problems.
them. Yeah, it was problematic.
Okay,
I didn't go much
so-
farther than that.
In an earnings call late last year, they announced to whoever may be listening on the earnings call that they posted a Q3 loss in 2018 of $400+ million.
Oof, that's steep.
Ooh.
As of right now, they are nearly $1 billion in debt.
Oh my God! Wow, yeah, they're going out. That's there's your sign.
And
Chapter 11, here we
and-
come.
yeah, and I don't know what their plan is, but
Doesn't sound like they have one.
They are open to getting purchased, and so far it seems like
Nobody wants
two
them.
investment companies have stepped up. It's like Sycamore Partners and Apollo something something. I don't really care about investment groups as much as you think. But it seems to me that GameStop is going to die a
Kind of like Blockbuster.
labored
Yeah.
and disgusting obese death. And I'm
Heavy breathing.
kind of happy with that because they gave me 7 cents for Elder Scrolls Oblivion when I
What? Is that an exaggeration or a literal 7 cents?
No, I think I still have the receipt somewhere in here.
Oh my God.
They
But what are we
gave me
gonna do
7
without
cents
the
when I traded in
memes
for
from
Oblivion.
this place? It generates so many memes.
And
Oh, man.
it is a entry level job for people who may not. It was a place that you could work out of high school and through college that wasn't fast food.
Yeah.
So like
That's true.
that's my concern about it. Like where are you gonna go to have that kind of job now?
Best Buy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Best Buy's not going to be very far
You think
behind.
they're not long from this world?
I don't think it's
right
I
now?
don't think it's like a 2 or 3 year thing, but like a lot of retail stores are having issues.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this sector is like Best Buy survived Radio Shack. However,
Oh,
or maybe
Radio
it was
Shack.
the demise of Radio Shack, but like it's a cyclical thing. Best Buy isn't going to be here forever either. And
True.
I'm not sure what will I don't know what will replace it, but if it's going to be just ordering online through the actual manufacturer, or if it's going to be ordering your stuff through Amazon, are overlords.
Actually, there is a slight theory about that, and I'll interject with this side story of an article I read. A company in
Please do.
China, who is not Alibaba, but it's similar, I think, to Alibaba, is actually setting up their infrastructure in conjunction with brick-and-mortar stores. So what they're doing is they're integrating a sort of touchscreen, like full-bodied length touchscreen TVs in clothing stores where you can scroll through outfits
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
I've seen
basically the brick and mortar stores are still going to facilitate your purchasing where they'll have samples of clothes for you to try on but not necessarily order. But whatever you do try on that you do like, you literally can just hit the screen right there, select it throws it in an online shopping cart, and you just purchase it. And so they're going to actually help the stores facilitate the sale, and even through, digitally, the store will still own the product that they are selling through their touchscreen / try-on size interface. You just won't immediately get the clothes right there unless they're kind of slightly stocked. But the idea is not to overstock like sometimes stores do now for like entire seasonal periods. They will actually sort of warehouse it in a methodology like Amazon does with their product, but still be able to give you what you want and have the ability for you to like actually see and touch the product before you buy it.
That's pretty cool.
So anyways, side note.
There
over.
aren't many times I'm going to compliment China because China is like an evil country, but that's cool.
That's one of the good things that a private company in China is doing.
There we go. I don't like China's government. How about that?
Yeah.
Yes. And technically, technically, while and this is just a bone of like history contention, while it still has a communist government, it is no longer a communist country.
That's true.
Officially.
Because you officially.
I mean, it has a capitalist quote-unquote economy that is highly regulated by the communist government.
Yes.
And by highly regulated, we mean every facet is controlled.
Yeah, like you're going to sell this at this price. Oh yeah, we own your company. Like it's government backed. We own all the shares.
All right, let's slide into some really quick. Oh, can I transition? I'm transitioning.
Yeah, transition.
Absolutely.
Transition.
We're railing on a
Roll the
country
reel.
right now. We need to move.
So we're gonna go into some of our like quick topics real quick. The first is that there will be a Microsoft HoloLens 2 press event next month. This is an article that we saw on The Verge. Take it away, Scorch.
Show of hands, show of digital hands. How many of you knew that HoloLens 1 actually made it to release? That's what I thought.
0 was the number of hands raised in case those were not
Yeah,
looking at the chat reels.
I thought it was a concept, you know? I thought, yeah, this is a technology that we're working on, this and that. I did not hear that it was, like, it made it to release. And here they're saying they're coming out with HoloLens 2? I know
It must have been
Microsoft,
really low
but
budget.
you got beat to the punch with, like, the iPod, right? Because, like, 4 people bought a Zune. But,
Yeah.
I knew
But,
someone who
like-
bought a Zune. I'm a first person witness.
dude, I know one person that bought a Zune also.
And they did it out of spite.
I don't know anyone who bought a Zune, but I do remember really liking. Oh man, I really liked Microsoft's interface for their Zune store. Their storefront
yeah.
for their digital music store was just way slicker than iTunes. And then their tile, whatever they called it, their like Metro tile set for their Windows phones. The functionality and the look and feel of it was, again, way better than what you had on iTunes, or excuse me, on iPhones. But, you know, Apple won that battle.
Yeah, totally.
But they're not about to win the cell phone battle, but I won't get into that. Another day, another topic.
Probably a different style of podcast, too.
Yes.
So, I don't really have all that much to say about HoloLens other than,
Yeah, it was a surprise.
Yeah.
That's about all I
Guess
can
what,
say.
folks? Another one came out. Go check it out. Now that you've heard about it for the first time and probably the last time.
For
Yeah.
the first time, for the last time.
Yeah, but stay tuned. Sometime in towards the end of February, there's going to be an event. They're going to preview it. It'll have more of like the Kinect technology and different stuff to improve performance. And it's a thing that's out there.
That is a set of words. Oh man, what's our next topic? What do we have to go?
The other quick topic was also found on The Verge, reported by The Verge, that Verizon is quietly testing a Netflix-style cloud gaming service.
Mm-hmm. So secretive, in fact, that the individuals who are willing to test it are being provided a gate key, a free Xbox One wired controller, and one other item on loan, so that way they can wholly test it without any, purchasing on their behalf. They're getting provided everything. And then once they're done, they'll return everything in a nice neat box and provide their comments and feedback. But not even Verizon is officially acknowledging that, so it's pretty much hush-hush.
This is one of those articles that I did not read, unfortunately.
Well, I'll hit you with one more highlight from it. They were testing, the tech test had about 135 games on it. And that, there's one other thing. Oh, it should be, the alpha testing should be done by the end of January.
Okay.
So
I've actually made it to that part.
So my question is,
Yes.
who is this going to be in competition with? And do you think Verizon will be spearheading this towards mobile? And like as in hosting mobile games on it too? Because they have like a instant install base.
Actually, I want to say partially mobile. I think it is gearing up to test and gauge the up-and-coming 5G network. So if they do get into mobile, what they will also actually be able to do is use their 5G system to advertise a more speed-friendly gaming that can be had mobily, in the terms of if you had a mobile hotspot that is sold and operated through Verizon. I think that's what they're actually...
That makes sense.
Because gaming is a pretty bandwidth-intensive thing, so if they can say their network is good for X amount, gaming bandwidth, people will be like, oh, okay. And a lot of people of the gaming base can gauge that and go, yeah, I wouldn't mind buying a hotspot for my apartment or wherever, because I know this 5G hotspot is going to give me awesome gaming speeds because of proof of their demo run with games. So they're getting just familiar enough with games as a company to say, yes, we have appropriately designed a system that will handle your gaming needs.
Oh, that's a really interesting take. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
I like that.
We need
You're
like
welcome.
stinger sound to play for the hot take.
Look, that's 2020. That's where we're going.
Baby steps, baby steps.
Baby steps, baby steps. But this show, it's going places. Stinger Sounds is on the way. I want some air horns. And maybe a Vuvuzuela.
Oh my god, I hate that sound effect so much. It's so overplayed at pep rallies. Oh my god, I hate it. Please don't use that sound.
There are quite a few companies that are already taking a look at streamability in games. Sony does it, Microsoft does it, Steam has a hand in it somewhere. So it's one of those things that I feel like a company like Verizon is going to try and get into early.
Yes.
Just in case it works well, they will have another stream of income.
Well, not just that, and kind of going along the same lines that I was talking about, they might not even be in it for the long haul of gaming, but gamers will use that incentive to essentially help fund Verizon so they can be the first to spread out a legitimate 5G network.
Yeah.
So it's not even really like... They could probably care less about games, to be perfectly honest. I think it's like, hey, there's this temporary cash cow we can tap into, which will help fast forward our building phases or collection necessary for this infrastructure that technically has to be paid for somehow, right? But they don't want to necessarily put the squeeze on all their current mobile customers, because then people will get pissed and they'll end up losing people as a customer base as a result. So instead, they will sidestep and say, oh, well, we're going to start this new little venture, but really it's just a temporary cash cow. And, obviously, if it continues to make money, they're not going to say no, but I don't think it's their primary investment goal in terms of becoming part of the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Well, for whoever is watching, I will have to add a small disclaimer. Take this as you will. I don't know if you care or not. You should, but I can't control your life, China. Verizon is the company that brought up net neutrality issues with the FCC. They are the reason why net neutrality does not exist anymore. So if you want, to support Verizon as a company, when they decided we can, make more money if net neutrality was not a thing, and then they made it so that it was not a thing, just,
Food for thought.
be aware. Okay?
Yeah. Just I mean, you can see the ripple effects in this right now. And that's why I'm kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't part of their portfolio, because they have the opportunity now where they can be the service provider and have a service to provide to you on their platform.
A monopoly is kind of like the goal, realistically. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of really should be, but...
No, but, I mean, that is the driver, right? They want to be like Amazon and try to control the world, so...
That's the problem, but we've already hit that.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to transition us. I don't have a really good segue this time, but since we're talking about companies who we should be leery about and maybe, watch our back, Skynet, let's talk about a company that did something right and also tie back into the title of this week's show, Crunch Time, talk about Slime Rancher and how they produced their game and stuck, for the most part, with 40-hour work weeks for their developers.
Yeah. That's, one, pretty impressive, and two, should not be impressive because humans have human needs.
But you'd be surprised how
industry.
often that the desires of the company get put in front of the employees, and the employees are the ones that
All
get the
the time.
brunt of it.
All the time.
Yeah.
In every
All the
single
time.
company.
Corporations operate on rational
Well,
self-interest.
for the
They don't-
people that have been blind a while and might just be hearing this for the first time and going into a sense of self-discovery, it's a lot to take in,
Gaming, but Turnami Gaming, what is a company?
Man, do I have a
What do you mean corporate
documentary
shill?
for you. But
Listen, no one pays us. We don't have any ads, so we can say this.
You're a corporate shill and always will be. There, the end.
Oh man.
But the studio head kind of threw down in this article that we found on Waypoint.com, and he said that we made Slime Rancher working 40 hours a week. It has been played by over 5 million people, created an amazing company of talented people, and currently has a 98% positive score on Steam. There is always another way.
End
And
quote.
they
End
stated
quote.
that in rebuttal to another company, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the company right now, but Vast, you looking at the article?
Yes, actually. It was in response to a tweet sent by noted
Elon Musk?
billionaire, yes, Elon Musk,
Yeah.
who's tweeted recently that there are way easier places to work, but no one ever changed the world in 40 hours a week.
And
Yeah,
another
that's true.
guy was observing the same article and wrote his own of how Elon Musk ended up having a statement in one of his that I don't want to mischaracterize it, but the crux of the quote was that we'll do whatever it takes. But the problem is that when a company is in the mentality of do whatever it takes, you can be darn sure they're going to sacrifice whatever it takes to accomplish their end goal, and up to and completely inclusive of the employee.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So, oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, for as much as Elon Musk is attempting to change the world and drive innovation with, like rocket and space technology and electric cars, trying to make them more affordable and all of that, and the Boring Company trying to make hyperloops and all of this junk, he's an insane person.
Kind of.
Like, he is a crazy dude that lives on 4 hours of sleep a night. And, like, if you're a normal person, that's not a viable option. You know what I mean?
And it shouldn't have to be to get things
Yeah.
done.
Yes.
Definitely.
And it doesn't have to be to get things done. I think that's one of those. Man, I'm not going to get into my whole soapbox about.
But you want to. But I can
want to, but I'm
sense
not.
it. You want
I'm not
to.
because I'm looking at the clock and there's like one more thing that we really want to hit.
All right.
But
all right.
there are times when workers are taken advantage of, because most employees are very prideful in the work that they do, and companies know this, and so you don't necessarily have to institute
long work
specific
weeks and stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. Your employees are going to do that, but it is so often built into the culture that it brings a lot of stress and anxiety to people during their week when they don't necessarily need to still be working after 80 hours during the week.
Yeah.
We have workers' protections, but it's kind of, moot when the workers can't protect themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, Bess, come back.
You can indeed be your own worst enemy.
You can, indeed. Especially when you're passionate about something.
Yeah, that's when it really, really can go south in a hurry.
Yeah.
But I think that it was a really good way to highlight that there are companies and studios who are mindful of their employees and go out of their and take that extra step to ensure that there is a work-life balance for these really driven people who are, doing what they love to make us happy and have a hobby that we love. And now I want to play Slime Rancher more than I did before.
Yeah. I only wish that game was co-op, and it's not co-op.
I
would
know,
love
more
to
co-op,
ranch
please.
slimes with y'all.
Exactly, more co-op, please. That is my champ. That's what I'm championing now and forever. Please give us more games to play with each other. I love the single player experience, but I like hanging with my guys and playing video games. So if you give me more options for that,
That's me too.
because I'm playing a Minecraft-esque game, and let me tell you, this is fun, but this is not what I would normally be playing with these guys.
We're playing Portal Knights. I don't know if we said that at the beginning of our stream. We're playing Portal Knights.
All right, guys. We have crunched. We've talked Bungie Activision. We've talked about the HoloLens 2. We've talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Let's end on the high note. Let's talk a little bit about Anthem since we're going into the demo in a few hours.
Yes.
So, all right. So if you don't do it already, go to Twitter, and if you don't have a Twitter account, make a Twitter account.
And follow Durnami Gaming.
Okay, you can do that, or you could use your Twitter handle more efficiently and follow Ben Irving on Twitter. He's one of the team leads on Anthem, and he has been an open book for Anthem questions.
A rarity,
and
might we say.
Concerns. For like a month now. This dude is nonstop. He answers a question like every 5 minutes. He's like glued to his phone, and he's got the biggest external battery plugged into his phone. It's like a backpack. He's sucking energy so that he can answer your questions.
The grid told him to throttle back.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's really cool to interact with, and he's been leading all of the streams recently. And if you have a question, you can totally ask him anything you want, and he will most likely answer you. And God, where was I going with this? It was something that I was really interested in and happy about, in that he explained that in the tutorial mission, you're given a loner javelin, you're given a ranger for the first mission, and once you hit level 2, they take that loner ranger back, and you're able to choose whatever javelin you want. So the idea being that at level 2, after the first mission or so,
you can
style. Just choose what you want.
Nice.
And it doesn't have to be.
Oh, I've got to grind with
ranger,
this plain javelin
I mean?
for 8 missions until I earn another javelin.
Exactly. Who's in my chat? McCalvy410? Hello,
Welcome.
dude. Hello.
Yo. Well, I really liked that idea. I was wondering how they're going to introduce the different javelins to us, and I was sincerely hoping that it wasn't like I have to play 10 hours before I unlock the interceptor.
That would suck.
I mean, I would do it, but that is not my preferred method.
And
Yeah.
they know this.
I mean, I know that Arcadius, after tossing that tiny, noodly ranger aside, is going to plop his ass into a Colossus and never move.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's going to have his butt print on the seat. He's never gonna leave.
It's gonna be so comfy.
Yeah.
It's gonna have heated seats.
Now,
Yeah.
this brings me to a thing that I've been wrestling with for a couple of days now, and
Tell us your woes.
I want y'all's opinion on it. This is a demo. We're going to be playing both on the VIP demo and the open demo the weekend after. Excuse me. I am thinking about not choosing a storm for the demo.
What? Oh, okay, yeah,
Just
that's
so you
fine.
get your variety in.
Yeah, just so I can see what's up. You know what I mean?
I want to try them all if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so you know what? I feel that for this demo, they mentioned that it's going to be a story mission that you did not see during the alpha. I do recall that. I think they said that only the Ranger will be available, but do not quote me on that.
Okay.
Even
What
if
I
it's the
heard
only
is
one
that they're
available,
gonna
that's
start
still one of
you-
the 4 we get to try out.
Yeah. I know that they said that they're going to start you in middle difficulty at like level 10. So that
Yes.
you have a little bit of wiggle room.
Some amount of actual gear that's usable against enemies.
Yeah.
And you're not firing
they also
spit wads.
Well, that's good. They
Yeah.
also mentioned like the character creator, and I don't think the character creator and the customization system won't be available. I don't think so. We won't have access to see like how. I know that the bulk of their time has been spent on creating a really robust customization system for your javelin instead of your character, but we won't get a chance to actually see what the character creator is going to look like anytime soon.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to come, and I am really excited that we finally get to
It's
play this
here.
together.
Yeah. I mean, some people have already played it, and we already know it's kind of cool, but...
Stop it!
Whatever.
The embargo drops tonight at 11, so if you want to know anything, you talk to me. Talk to me in like a few hours, okay? I know things. Okay? I know things.
There's a good chance that Arcadius and myself might sneak. Scorch and myself might sneak on the early hours of midnight and see what we can see in the demo.
Curse you and your easy laden time frame.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna shove that into Arcadius' face too much.
I mean,
but
I have a handful of mud right now. I can do it.
Oh, he's
We're gonna
I can
keep it
hear him
nice
rearing
and
back.
cool.
Totally can. Yeah, absolutely. It's coming. Loaded in
but,
my slingshot.
Guys, I think that's all of our topics, and we're hitting our hour mark.
All right. Well, I guess this has been another show in the can, huh?
I think so.
Chalk
And
up
quite
another
a good
one.
Do we have anything else to add before this show gets taken down by China?
Oh, no, I
All right.
don't.
Okay.
Not in particular.
So, we are Durnami Gaming. We do streams usually every Tuesday. We're on Dash Radio on the multiplayer channel. You can follow us on Twitter at Durnami Gaming and Twitch at Durnami Gaming, and we have a YouTube channel, Durnami Gaming as well. Look forward to some new graphics pretty soon. I believe Vast is working on it. And
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I'm working on an intro card, so it might be cooler soon. But other than that, we are out of here. Thanks for joining us.
Hold on.